Good morning, class. I'm so happy to see you all once again for this session today, and I'm so glad with your attendance. And so today, we're gonna work on with our continuation with the previous session's topic. But before that, let's have first our review time. So, can anybody tell us what have we discussed previously? Yes, please. You are correct. So last session we have talked about the history of case study. How do we define case study in the lens of education, and of course in general sense, what is a case study? And for the last part, we have also touched what are the parts of a case study. Now, can somebody provide us a short definition of what a case study is? Yes, please. Thank you. You are correct. So, a case study in general is a holistic inquiry that investigates a contemporary phenomenon in a natural setting or a natural space. Very good. Thank you for that. Now, can somebody tell us how do we define case study in the lens of education? Yes, please. Thank you. Very good answer. So yeah, case study, these are researches as well that show application of a theory or concept in a real situation, in a real setting, such as implementing learning theory of Levi Vygotsky or John Dewey in education setting or in a real class. So might as well say that case studies are also a series of stories or stories that provides current teachers or educators information on how to do learning and how learning are developed, how learning processes or progress in previous times as well. And lastly, can somebody tell us the first two parts of a case study? Yes, please, correct. These are introduction and the background information. How about the last two? Yes, please. Very good answer. That is presentation of the findings and conclusion. Now, I'm so glad that you all remembered all those information which are very vital in today's session. So, before we dive in to the proper or to the discussion proper, let's have an activity first, a short activity, just a short activity. I'll call this activity as your problem, our solution. All right. So with this one, I'll be presenting you a problem with a specific person. Of course, it's related to education as you are education students. So I will be giving you a problem and you will provide the solution. Now, this problem is just easy for you and you will be information given. However, this information is very minimal. So I'd like you to work closely with your mates and I'd like you to group with 3 members. I'll be giving you 5 minutes to do that to group yourself. And I believe you're all set, just in time for 5 minutes. So we're all good with your groupings. And now I have right here the problem. There you go. So Learning Gateway, it is an education startup which is founded by Candice Best, the CEO. Now, I got this problem from Game Thinking. They are the website to help her succeed in this Learning Gateway startup application that she got. Now, here's the problem. Candice, as an educator, startup CEO, was developing a mentoring system for at-risk community college students. So we have here, she'd been working on her app for over a year and was struggling with lack of engagement in her beta test. Now, beta test, everyone, is a part of her application that provides the assessment or provides assessment for at-risk community college students. Now, this part right here, this sentence right here, or this group of sentences right here, is our additional information of the said problem. So you may take a look at that to get details so you will have a better answer to the problem. So with that, I'll be giving you 10 minutes to do this, and your time starts now. All right, I believe we're all done. That's enough, everyone. So this time, I'd like you to present your work, please. Shall we start with group 1? Thank you. How about group 2? Thank you very much, group 2. How about group 3, please? All right. Thank you very much for all of your cooperation for that part of our activity. Now, I'm so glad that you're able to provide your resolution for time is best in that problem given the very minimum information about the said concern. Now, since we're all set with that, I'd just like to assess our activity. How did you find that activity? Was it hard for you? Was it easy, difficult? Yes, please. A bit hard since there's limited information, correct? Now, since there is just really few information given for that problem, I believe that made it hard to provide the best solution for the problem. Is that correct? Yes, we all agree with that. Now, I'd like to know, what do you think would be the best way, or what should be done for us to provide a tailored fit resolution, or the best resolution, perhaps? Yes, dig deep with the details of the problem, and we call that technically as research. Very good. All right, and so with that, we have to keep in mind that research and case study works hand in hand. They're almost the same. And so for today's session, I'd like you to know that our goal for today is, of course, for you to create just the first two parts of your own case study and explain the importance of case study, being able to write it. I'd like to know, or I'd like you to explain how important case study is. All right. So for us to formally begin with, let's discuss how do we write an academic case study. So to begin with, of course, we need to define the subject of the study. What are we studying for? Are we studying on an individual, small group of people, or occasional event? Are we talking about phenomenon? Are we trying to understand a behavior of a learner, of a group of people, or a group of students just like you? So after defining our subject, we move on to narrowing down our research goal. What is our goal? What is the aim of this study? Now, if you are working already, if you're already employed, let's say for an institution or an organization, there will be cases that you are provided with what will be the goal of the study is. But if you're doing it on your own, you are the one who will develop it. Right. So after you do that, after you narrow down your goals, you perform background research. You investigate, you search for other case studies, research articles that may help your present study, or that relevant to your study. And you, of course, design your research strategy in detail. How are you going to get those details? You provide a blueprint, a detailed information of how you will do it, a step-by-step way to cook your output for us to reach your goal. It's like a step-by-step, a ladderized goal or strategy on how you will reach your goal. That's what you will need to do next. Now, after doing that, we then move on to learning how to conduct obtrusive observation. Of course, when you do observation, you need to let your learners know, or your respondents know, that you're observing them. It's not allowed, or it's unethical to spy on them. If they are not aware that you are doing a study for them, that is unethical. Okay? But it is if you do observation. So there are two ways to conduct this. As what we have discussed previously, you can do observation, you can do interviews, depending on your goal or depending on your study that you will do. Next part with that is you take notes. Of course, when you observe, you have to take notes or record what you have observed, because this will be very vital when you will create or when you will start to write the paper itself. You don't want to lose details, important details for this. So you need to take note or record it, write it down as much as possible. And with that, let's work on, if you will do interviews, you need, of course, to first draft a list of interview questions. You need to be ready. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to ask questions that are not related. So we need to draft a list of what are the things that you will ask. Of course, these questions must be linked to your goal in this study. And with that, of course, you conduct interview to your respondents in order for you to proceed with your next step, with the next part of your goal, and for you to get as well the data that you really wanted to have. After that, you collect and analyze all the data that are applicable to your study, to your goal. Is their weight important? Their names, their age, their answers to the question you have given, the way they speak, the grammar, the sentence that they provide, the choice of words, those stuff, they are vital. So you need to collect all the information you need to collect in order for you to work on with your research. And after collecting and analyzing them, you're formulating the problem in one or two sentences. So this is like a test statement that you will need to provide. Example for the statement: peanuts are best solution for those who are lazy to study to improve brain system. That's an example of a thesis statement. It's not yet proven, but I am fighting for it. This is what my study is for. So you have to keep in mind that when you write thesis statement, it should be a sum up or a summary of what your study is all about. What are you trying to find in your study? What are you trying to prove with the study that you are doing? That's what, or that's how your thesis statements should sound. Next part is to develop and write your case study. So this is the crucial part now. This is the part where you really write your case study. Since you have analyzed already, you have performed your outline, your strategy in detail, you have performed it already, you now write it. And of course, we have what we have discussed, the four part of the case study. It's the introduction, the background information, the presentation of findings, and the conclusion, which is very important. And after doing it, we need, of course, to edit and proofread your work. Check for grammar, check for spelling, punctuations, which are very also important. Now, I'd like you also to keep an eye on the flow of your study, the flow of how you presented your study. Are you providing the correct conjunctions? Is it working smoothly in order for your audience to see what you are trying to point out in your study? And of course, after doing this, you write your final case study report, and that's it. You can publish it or you can submit it directly to your boss or to your teacher if you're still a student. Any questions so far? Since there's none, I'd like us to see if you're able to get those so far. So let's do a practice. This will just be a practice if what you have learned so far with those steps and how to create a case study report or an academic case study. Now with this one, I'd like you to write on with just the first part of your case study, which will be the introduction. Choose something that interests you most, okay? And I'd like you to work this in just 15 minutes with your group. This time, I'd like you to have 5 members in each group to group yourselves. Now, I'll give you 5 minutes. All right, just in time. We've got 2 more seconds left. And I'd like you to work on, select first what interests you most and do a research about it for your introduction. And please be guided that along with your groups, you will be graded with the following rubric for the presentation of your study. Introduction alone, I'll be grading you with the content as of 35%, organization is 25%, grammar 15%, impact is 5%, total of 100%. And of course, since I also wanted you to explain how important case study is according to the interest that you have selected, you will be graded accordingly with this rubric on how you will explain or how you will present to me for explanation of how important case study is in accordance to your field of interest. So keep that in mind, and I'd like to know that your time starts now. You have 15 minutes. Time's up, everyone. So let's proceed. Your time is up. Stop writing now. I'd like now for us to proceed in presenting your work. Please feel confident with that. You're doing great. All right. So group 1, introduction, please. Thank you so much. How about group 2? Very interesting. How about group 3? Thank you so much. All right. I can see that you're all doing a good job. Since I have provided you all feedback in each respective group, I'd like us now to proceed to the second part, which is the background information of your study. Now with the same group, I'd like you to write the background information of your case study. This time, we're gonna try it again, okay? So this time it will be on your background information. Same criteria I have right here, but this time you will be graded for the background information only and not anymore with the introduction, okay? And of course, same thing, we're gonna deliver or explain How or why is it important to conduct a case study according to your field of interest? Now, this time, I expect a more elaborate explanation since you are now in the background information, and I'll be calling those who haven't explained yet in their group. I'd like you to be ready because your time will start now. All right, time's up, everyone. So let's move on to presentations, please. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. I truly appreciate you applying those feedbacks I have given you, and you are doing really just great with your performance so far. I could say that you all will be a very good case study writers in the future, and you are very ready to proceed with the presentation of findings and the conclusion of your case studies. And I think it will be safe for us to say that before this discussion, you might be just like this. When it comes to case study writing, you're scared, you might be panicking when you hear case study writing or research writing. But it will be safe to say that after our discussion, you are just like SpongeBob. You are now confident and enjoying writing case studies since you are doing well. Now, thank you very much, everyone, for today's session. And since there's no questions so far, thank you so much for being awesome. Let's call it a day. Goodbye, and you all take care.